old traditions. It's something we've been doing for at least several generations now. But happiness and simcha is something the Jewish people have known for a long time. And the ability to come together to celebrate is also something we're always happy about, and that's why we call it a simcha. A simchat bat is the ceremony through which we welcome a new baby girl into a relationship with God, the covenant, and her people. And so that's why we're all the more happy to celebrate with you today. In a moment, we'll ask Michelle and Adam to read the welcome paragraph on the page, on the first page of the packet, and then we'll welcome our new baby girl into our midst. But beforehand, Michelle and Adam, the parents welcome.
We want to welcome all of you, our family and friends, to this Simchat Bat, a ceremony at which we will bring our daughter into the Jewish community. Our tradition teaches that all members of all generations enter into a unique relationship with God at Sinai. This relationship, known as the Brit or the Covenant, joins God and the Jewish people in the task of perfecting the world. Today, our daughter becomes a partner in that covenant. She passes over a threshold, and we mark her passage from her mother's womb into her father's waiting hands, and into the welcoming arms of the community of Israel. We believe that the miracle of her birth is of great importance to our Jewish community, for Judaism's future rests on the firm foundation of its young men and women. In naming her today, she receives her membership into the covenant, linking her to Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah, Jacob, Rachel, and Leah.
And let's all rise as our new little girl comes into our midst. We say, Brucha Haba'ah, may she who comes be blessed.
May she be blessed beneath the wings of Shekinah. Be blessed with love, be blessed with peace. May she be blessed beneath the wings of Shekinah. Be blessed with love, be blessed with peace.
There's a special Thanksgiving blessing that the mother recites after the journey of bringing a new child into this world. It's called Birkat Gomel, the blessing of Gomel. So we'll ask Michelle to recite the blessing, and we'll respond with the appropriate response on the next page.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hagomel lahayvim tovot sheg malani kol tov.
Amen. Mish malech kol tov, huig malech kol tov, selah. May God, who has shown you kindness, be good to you forever. And now Uncle Matt and Aunt Rose will lead us responsively with the Living Judaism prayer.
Judaism begins at home. It begins in homes where Judaism lives in the atmosphere and is integrated into the normal pattern of daily life.
Together, it begins in homes where words of the Jewish tradition are part of the everyday vocabulary, where Jewish books are displayed and read, where Jewish songs are enjoyed.
It begins in homes where the children see and participate in symbols and rituals that link them to a people with a colorful and rich culture.
It begins in homes where Jewish ritual objects are visible, Shabbat candlesticks and Chanukiot, menorot, mezuzot, and Havdalah sets.
It begins in homes where into the deepest layer of a child's developing personality are woven strands of love for the Jewish tradition and devotion to the Jewish people.
Judaism begins in the home. A truly Jewish home, therefore, is not only a place where Jews live, but a place where Judaism is lived.
The founders of our people wisely assigned to parents the task of transmitting the ideals of Torah, Kuppah, and Ma'asim Tovim, study, family, and the performance of good deeds, for it is in the home that the foundations of the future are set.
Children are not only Banim, the children of the past, they're also Bonim, the builders of tomorrow, and will remain standing as we offer this new little girl her Hebrew name. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen.
Amen.
Misha berach Avotinu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov served Rachav Leah. ויברך את אהרון בן יוסף ורבקה חנה, ואת אישה היולדת, גיטו בת מיכה וציפורה, ואת הילדה הנודע להם במזל טוב, ויגרש שמה בישראל, פנינה בת אהרון וגיטל, יזכור לגדול התורה וחופה מעשים טובים ונאמר, amen. May God, who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless this sweet child with good fortune and timely blessings. And may her name be called among the daughters of Israel as Penina, corresponding to the English name of Frances Janelle Frankie G, daughter of Adam and Michelle. May little Frankie G, little Penina, be raised in good health, peace, and tranquility. And let us say, Amen. Together we respond, Keshem shenichnasa labrit, ken tikanes letorah uchuba u'maasim tovim. Just as she has entered the covenant, so may she enter the worlds of Torah, family, and good deeds. You may be seated.
Thank you all for coming. We're so happy that so many of our friends and family could be here today to celebrate this Simcha with us. And just it means a lot, especially with the weather. So I guess it's good luck I'm told it's good luck to have a Simcha in a snowstorm. So Penina is Frankie's Hebrew name, and Penina was the Hebrew name of my aunt Phyllis, my dad's oldest sister, who passed away recently.
And her English names, Frances and Janelle, are named after all four of our grandmothers. This is so necessary.
Frances was the name of my mother's mother and Adam's father's mother. Both had the name Frances, although Adam's mother was Franya, which was Yiddish for Frances, because she was a Holocaust survivor, and she came here as an immigrant and was Franya, but easier to go by Frances in English. My grandmother, my Nana, my mom's mom, went by Frankie, and we just love that name and wanted to honor our maternal and paternal grandmothers.
And then the middle name, Janelle, the G, is named after my maternal grandmother, Geraldine, and Michelle's paternal grandmother, Gertrude.
Yeah, you can't name a baby Frances Geraldine or Frances Gertrude, so we went with a more modern middle name, Janelle, with a G. And we call her Frankie G. And my mom wants me to tell everyone that her dress today that she's wearing was knit by my Nana, her namesake, Frankie. And the sweater that she's wearing is the sweater that I wore home from the hospital when I was here.
Kind of a late 70s motif.
She's vintage today. Very, very mod.
And I was the only grandchild for a really long time, so I spent a lot of time with my grandmothers, and it was just really special to have a little girl for that reason.
And she is the first girl granddaughter in the family, and her Hebrew name means coral or pearl, and the Kabbalic phrase is unique one, right? Or one of a kind. And all five of her namesakes, all four of our grandmothers and my aunt were truly one of a kind. Those of you who knew them would know that they would be proud for her to have their name, and she will be, no doubt, a basketball player and a football player and chasing after all these boys that have come before her, but we're still going to put her in pink.
And the name Penina, pearl, as Michelle said, or coral, not only is a day full of snow, a blessing in our tradition, but there's also something I think quite mystical about today when you name a baby girl Penina and you look out and the sky is a pearl. When you look out and we're sitting within the pearl of the world. But even more so, there's something even with greater depth that when Michelle and Adam and I discussed little Frankie G's Hebrew name, it was something I hadn't even thought of. But we talked about mystical tradition and this special phrase that has the same numeric equivalent as the name Penina. But the word that our rabbis teach is the mystical word to which is ascribed to a girl named Penina with the same Hebrew numerical value is hapasim, the colors. And of course, yesterday morning we read the story of Joseph, which our Broadway libretto providers use the term the Technicolor Dream Coat, but the Hebrew is Ketonat Hapasim, the coat of many colors. So on one hand, we're painting the story of a world that is glistening and shiny and full of hope and wonder, just like a pearl. On the other hand, we're painting a story of many colors and diversity and happiness and all different chapters. And I think the beauty of the two of them together leads us to really the idea of where Penina comes into our tradition. And I'll leave you with this one last thought as our blessing for little Penina this morning. On Friday nights, very often, a woman will bask in the glory of sung to by all those around the table of the Eshet Chayil. Many people think the Eshet Chayil is a chauvinist and very old patriarchal passage from the end of the 31st chapter of the book of Numbers, book of Proverbs, when in fact it is very feminist and very egalitarian. And the very first line is Eshet Chayil Mimsa V'Rachok Mipninim Michra, the idea of Mipninim, a woman of valor who can find her, she's worth far more than precious pearls. This idea of a Penina. And it's really, that's our blessing, that little Penina grows up to be this Eshet Chayil, this brave, strong woman. This woman who knows both what it means to live in a world of pearl and color. A woman who will be the pearl for all of us. Can you hear Ratzon and may it be God's will, and let us say, Amen. We ask Michelle and Adam to lead us in the parents' prayer of thanksgiving.
Our God and God of our ancestors, we thank you for the precious gift of new life and for the blessing of parenthood which allows us to share in the mitzvah of creation. We have shared love and pain and joy in bringing our daughter into life and have been privileged to participate in the marvel and beauty of creation with you, God, the partner in creation of every human being. Amen.
Amen. Now, as my parents always tell me, the privilege of being a parent is really being a parent's parent, and that's being a grandparent. And so we'll ask the grandparents, Bubby and Zadie, Grandma and Poppy, to recite the grandparents' prayer on the bottom of the page.
Ready? Middle, all together?
Everyone.
Yes, go in the middle, all together.
Our God and God of all generations, we are grateful for the new beginnings, for the bond of new life that links one generation to another. Thankful for the blessings of family, for the love and care that bring meaning and happiness to our lives. We rejoice with our daughter and son in the birth of Frankie G, our granddaughter. May they grow together as a family in health and in strength, in harmony, wisdom, and love. Their home filled with Torah and acts of kindness, and may they be able to share in the joy of seeing this child grow into adulthood. May she be a blessing to her family, her people, and all humanity.
Amen. And now we'll invite Auntie Jan and Uncle Scott to lead us in a life of blessing.
Every person born into this world represents something unique. It is the duty of every individual to know and consider his or her unique character, and respect the individuality of all children.
Together, as members of this community, bound to that covenant which this child now enters, we accept our responsibility to provide the sources of instruction and assistance to enable her and all of our children to grow in knowledge, sensitivity, and justice.
Grant that this tender child grows into adulthood with the blessings of nobility, strength, and gentleness. May she be faithful like Sarah, trusting like Rebecca, and strong like Rachel and Leah. Instill in her the joy of learning and teach her to have compassion for all life.
May this child be strong enough to know when she is weak and brave enough to save herself when she is afraid. Send her not only in the path of ease and comfort, but also in the spur of difficulty and challenge. And as we do on Friday nights with our children, we offer our new little baby girl the blessing of her ancestors, the blessing of the generations, the priestly blessing. And so Cantor Abrams will recite the Hebrew as Michelle and Adam place their hands on little Frankie's little kepi and recite the English.
May God make you like Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. Adonai, grant our daughter a life of security and trust. May her life shine with dignity and freedom. May our daughter know your gift of harmony and peace.
Amen. With all moments of thanksgiving, we recite the Shechianu.
Baruch atah Adonai
You have brought such increased joy to our Hanukkah celebration. Of course, although it's a relatively new tradition to share gifts on Hanukkah, there is no greater gift than the gift of a new life, and actually that's what Shechianu means. It's a thanksgiving for life. That being said, we also have a number of gifts for you. We have in this tote bag from the Olive School a receiving blanket that's very colorful, like the Ketonet Pasim about which Rabbi Olitsky spoke. There's a bib from HMJDS, or perhaps she will be a student. Certificates for our ECJFE program, a certificate to remind you of today. And finally, a T-shirt that says, "I got my Hebrew name here at Bethel," with Anita on the back. Clearly, not only your family, but our entire Jewish community celebrates with you today. She is a gift of light, like the lights of Hanukkah, to your life, to your family. And now as you raise her in a beautiful Jewish home, bring her to Shul and the Midst community, you bring your gift of Frankie G to our community and to our world, and we thank you for that. Mazal tov.
And now Big Al will lead us in Motzi. Of course, no Jewish celebration is complete without a little nosh. I'll do it with you. Amen. There you go. What if I do it How's that? We say Mazal Tov, and we'll celebrate together in the Ribnik Kiddush Hall, which is the right side, the sanctuary side of the social. Thank you.